Greetings indie gaming fans, it's the ex-hardcore gamer here, and while I may not know about being young anymore, I do know about action RPGs and brawlers, so today, I'm gonna talk about Young Souls. Young Souls follows two teen misfits that are twins named Jen and Tristan. They are on a quest to find their guardian, a professor who has recently disappeared shortly after they found a mysterious portal within his estate. What you will soon find out is that there is an underground and secret goblin world beneath the city that you live in, and even the mayor knows about it. You're gonna train in the gym by day and fight in the dungeons by night to be able to find the professor and find out what's going on. At first, Young Souls might seem like it's a bit heavy on plot as there is a lot of dialogue to get through before you start running through dungeons. In actuality, once you have the ability to quickly travel around, the plot gets very light. Essentially, once you beat a boss and finish a chapter, you'll get a little bit more story, but not all that much. It really doesn't get heavy again until you get to the end, which is understandable. Anybody looking to be able to play an RPG with a good plot, this will not be the game for you, because even if it did have more of a plot, you wouldn't want it because what they have is just plain bad. Whatever interest you may have in finding out why there is this secret underground society and what the professor has to do with it will all be quickly dashed by the fact that the teenagers themselves are so poorly written. It just seems like they tried way too hard to keep them young and hip, and that just results in them being terrible kids that swear a lot for no reason. There is a profanity filter so that children will be able to play this game without being subjected to that language, and while I'm no prude, I have nothing against swearing in video games, even adults may want to turn it on because it just comes off as super cringy. Or even better yet, do what I did and just skip the story altogether. There is a fast forward button because it's all just bad and it's a waste of time. The official description does call Young Souls an RPG beat 'em up, but I think that it would be better to call it a more general action RPG as there are not a lot of beat 'em up elements to keep fans of that genre happy. Anybody going in expecting a game like Guardian Heroes or Castle Crashers will be sorely disappointed. Combos are very basic and limited as you're looking at about only 2 or 3 hits, and it depends on what weapon you're using. Combos can be extended slightly if you jump in first, but again, that also depends on the weapon, and you can do some juggling, especially if an enemy bounces off the wall. Another limiting factor to the combos is the fact that you only have one attack button to actually do them. If you tap it, it's your normal light attack, and if you hold it, it's a charge attack, but you can't move while you're doing it, and it can't be mixed in with your combos. While it is not a true beat 'em up, I still found myself having quite a lot of fun while playing. So yeah, the combos were basic, but I still was running around and able to kill enemies while leveling up, which is what people are looking for in an action RPG. There may only be the 2 basic attacks with the light and the charge, but you do get different special attacks that use up some mana depending on which weapon you have equipped. I'm sure you've noticed I've used that phrase quite a bit already, and that leads me to another positive in this game, and that's that there's a lot more variety than you would expect, all based on what weapon you choose. It gives you different attacks, it gives you different combos, it gives you different abilities. This leads to make it so that it doesn't get as repetitive as it possibly could be. As is pretty standard with these types of games, you can either find these weapons or buy them, and you can find different elements to be able to upgrade them and make them even stronger. This goes for the armor as well, and all of it is visual, so you actually will have your character look different based on what you have equipped. Each of the twins is independent of each other, so you can equip separate weapons and armor as well as abilities to them depending on how you want to play. If you're playing single player, you'll obviously only be able to play as one twin at a time, but you can quickly tag in and out and swap characters with the press of a button. Like many tag team fighting games out there, the partner that's tagged out will now be able to heal slightly until they are tagged back in. Since you lose this mechanic by playing 2-player co-op and have both characters on screen at the same time, They instead have the ability of if you use a potion near your partner, you both will get the benefits of it. The only other mechanic that changes when playing co-op is that now the tag button will do a super strong attack that warps you to your partner. The main gameplay loop itself is basically consisting of you having a key to a portal that allows you to go from gate to gate within the dungeon. But You have to explore and find those gates before you can do so. While you're exploring, you may find areas of the dungeon that are too high level for you, and while I thought that I got to a part where I needed to grind a bit, the reality was you just go a different way and find one that's more level appropriate. You can warp at any point while playing the game, but as I said, it can only be to gates that you've already unlocked. But you can also go back above ground where you have the gym that allows you to train and get stronger, the mayor who can give you some more help, and a pawn shop where you can sell some items for gold. As you get further, there are some other places, but I don't want to spoil those. The only other place that I'll mention that isn't a spoiler will be your bedroom. This is where you go to sleep, which is how you level up. You can have enough experience while you're running around in the dungeon, but you don't get the stat boost until you go to sleep. This creates a kind of do I want to keep going or do I want to go back type mentality, as sometimes it's better to be able to get those stat boosts before you carry on. As you progress through the game, you will also find different keys that will allow you to go to new areas that you previously couldn't go to, and unlock treasure chests that will give you either gold, items, or more equipment. While this does create a little bit of a backtracking type scenario where you're going back and redoing an area just to get a treasure chest, usually the areas are small enough before it goes to the next gate that you're not having to redo a whole lot. This also creates a way where you don't feel like you're actually grinding because you're actually working towards another goal, or maybe even getting a new area because you can unlock a new door. There are 4 different worlds that you will explore, and you do not have to do them 100% to be able to complete the game, but obviously it will make you stronger and give you some extra benefits. The game is labeled as having about 10 to 12 hours of gameplay, and I can confirm this. I was able to get 100% within 12 hours. On top of 3 different difficulty levels to pick from, there is also an accessibility menu that allows even further tweaking of the gameplay. There are quite a few options, and they include such things as being able to reduce the damage to the player, increase the enemy's health, or even add an auto block. When it comes to the graphics in Young Souls, this is also another great positive point to the game. This appears to be a game that had the consoles more in mind, as there aren't really many graphical options on the PC. As a matter of fact, there's only one. What resolution would you like to run it at? This may sound like a negative thing, but the reality is that the game looks and runs great anyway, so there's really no need for anything else. The recommended video card is nearly a decade-old mid-range card, so as long as you have something that fits that or better, you're going to be able to run this game just fine. On my RTX 2060, I was able to play at the 2K resolution and get 160 frames per second consistently. The graphics themselves are a nice mix of 3D worlds and objects mixed in with 2D sprites for the characters and enemies. There are some minor lighting effects. The characters are all large and detailed with plenty of colors, and each world has its own unique look. I feel like the sound department is another positive, as there's plenty of variety to the sound effects and the music where nothing ever felt repetitive. Young Souls is a perfect example of knowing what you're getting into before you play it to avoid disappointment. You won't like it if you're looking for a typical brawler, but you will have fun if you like action RPGs, especially if you're looking to play with a friend. I want to thank our indie warriors: Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevilo, Chris Jackson, Adriana Amato, CJR, Julian Colbus, Jesse, CPM, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Hart, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, PSC, Carmine Red, King of the Hatch, and Blue Francis 14. I would like to give an extra special thanks to our indie legends: Jen Rose, Larkison, Mitchell Hall, Eric, Peach, Skepticism, C Coil, and Nathan Moore. Thank you to everyone for all of your support for us here at I Dream of Indie, as well as indie gaming in general. If anybody would like to join them, all the information is in the description below. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, and until next time, enjoy gaming.